Today we are going to see about instructions and topics. Here it goes. It is the subject computer architecture and its organization. Okay. So today as we have already seen about what is meant by instruction and what are the tactics involved in pipelining and how instructions are processed for improving the performance of the computer by means of pipelining. Okay. So we are going to see about gate related questions related to that. Okay. So here it goes, the first question. So consider the following sequence of micro operations. MBR tends to PC, MAR tends to X, PC tends to Y, and memory tends to MBR. Okay, so here is the sequence of micro operations given. Okay, so what is the question asked? Which one of the following is a possible operation performed by this sequence? Okay, they have given 4 different options: instruction fetch, operand fetch, conditional branch, and the final one is initiation of interrupt service. Okay, so this is the question asked. Okay, so just analyze what the question is meant for. So they have given the sequence of operations as micro operations. So MBR, MAR, PC related to a certain sequence of operations. So what they have asked, they are asking these 4 different kinds of operations, that is micro operations given, right? So operations are going to perform. What are all the set of possibilities for these operations? Whether these operations indicate instruction fetch or operand fetch or conditional branch or initiation of interrupt services. Okay, what does these 4 kinds of instructions is meant for? So any guesses? Any guesses, students? Okay, so we will see the explanations and afterwards we will analyze what the answer will be. Okay, so here there are 3 types of registers are used in this sequence. One is MBR, second one is MAR, and third one is PC, that is program counter. So what is MBR meant for? MBR means memory buffer register, right? So it is used for processing the transformation of information to and from the immediate access store. Okay, so immediate register. Okay, so mainly this buffer register, that is memory buffer register, is needed for transfer of information. Okay, so second one, note down the second one register, MAR, memory address register. So memory address register, as we already know, it holds the memory location of the data that is needed to be accessed. So we are going to access particular data, right? So access it means, in the sense, we are going to utilize that or store that value in a particular register. So memory address register is mainly meant for holding the memory location of that particular data which is we are going to be accessed. Okay, so the third part is program counter. We are very familiar with this program counter. Program counter is meant for pointing the address of instruction that is to be executed next, or address of instruction that is currently being processed. Okay, so these 3 types of registers are only given in this question. Okay, this sequence. So first, consider the first instruction. What does the first instruction says? MBR tends to PC. So the first instruction says that second instruction, consider the second instruction, MAR tends to X. So MAR tends to X means for placing the address of X value into the memory address register. Similarly, the third instruction processes the address of Y, places the address of Y into the program counter. So the fourth instruction, what is the fourth instruction? Memory to MBR, right? So it places the value of MBR into the memory. Okay, so these are all the set of instructions that are given in the micro operations, right? So basically the first instruction, okay, first and the fourth instruction, the control flow was not sequential. Okay, so first instruction is in unique way, second one is unique way, third one is unique, and fourth one is a unique instruction. So there is no control flow happens between or happens in the intermediate states of these four types of instructions. So this behavior is seen in the case of interrupt handling. So we are familiar with interrupt handling, right? So interrupt means what will we say? So any unconditional or unstated behavior of a particular system, that is considered as interrupt, right? So we are going to handle that interrupt. So each and every kind of interrupt is very unique, right? So similarly, when we analyze these four instructions, they are related to interrupt. Yes, so they are related to interrupt service. So the address of X, right? Here it goes. Here X can be the address of any location in the memory which contains the beginning address of the interrupt service. Okay, so Y can be the beginning address of interrupt service routine. So program counter is not stored anywhere else, right? So program counter is not dealing with the storage of certain kind of information in these four different kinds of instruction. So the result will be initiation of interrupt service. So again we will see, consider the following sequence of micro operations. Here it is given. So what is the question asked? So it is not instruction fetch, it is not operand fetch, it is not conditional branching. There is no branching conditions here. So the final one is initiation of interrupt service. So there will be a possibility for the initiation of interrupt service in these four different kinds of micro operations. So the answer is D. So initiation of interrupt service. Okay, so it is a basic question. Okay, so it is a basic question. So next. Okay, so we'll see. So students, have you understood this question?
Sir.
Guys?
Sir.
Okay. So we will move on to the next question. Okay, so next question. It's very simple question, but think deeply and answer. So register renaming is done in pipelining process for what? Okay, they have given four different types of options. So register renaming. Okay, we are very familiar with this register renaming. Actually, the previous class itself we have discussed about register renaming and its uses while we are having session in hazards, pipeline hazards, right? So register renaming is done in pipelined processes for what? So first option they have given as, it is used as an alternative to register allocation at compile time. Okay, so register allocation at compile time. So we are using this register renaming as an alternative solution. So here it is the first option given. So second option what they have given. So register renaming is used for efficient access to function parameters and local variables. So here is the second option. So third one, register renaming is used to handle certain kinds of hazards. So here is the third answer. So fourth one is it is a part of address translation. Okay, any guesses, students? What will be the answer? Any guesses?
The answer will be option C.
The answer is it is used for handling different kinds of hazards. Okay, we have already seen, right? While we are having the session in the hazard. So we have seen two different types of data hazards. Okay, hazards are of many types: data hazard, control hazard, instruction hazard. So there are many different kinds of hazards. While handling that, we have came across the word called register renaming. So while we are dealing with register renaming, it is done to avoid WAR and WAW. What does it mean? WAR means write after read, and WAR means write after write. Okay, so while pipelining hazard handling situations, we have came across these two words. Okay, so write after read and write after write. Okay, so when does it just remember, when does this WAR and WAW have occurred? So while a particular instruction is waiting for the result of previous instructions. Okay, just consider I1, I2, I3 and I4. So four different types of instructions we are going to process. So while we are dealing with these four kinds of instructions, where if the instruction I3, okay, just notice instruction I3 is waiting for the result of instruction I2 or I1, that is the previous instructions result. So whenever it is getting or it is waiting for a previous instructions result for its upcoming processors, then it has to wait for a particular period of time until the previous instructions have to complete. So at that stage, we are dealing with these two kinds of hazards, data hazards, WAR and WAW. So it is clearly seen that while dealing with these kinds of data hazards, registers should be renamed. So in order to overcome or handle those kind of control hazards, right? So control or data hazards. So the solution is C, to handle certain kinds of hazards. Very good. So someone have given answer. Very good. So next, we will move on to the next question. Here it goes. So just analyze this question. S2, S3 and S4. So these are all the four different kinds of pipeline instruction stages. Okay, each with a combinational circuit logic. Okay, so each and every step is dealing with combinational circuit logic. So the pipeline registers are required between each stages and at the end of last stage. So consider this diagram. So here it is given S1, S2, S3 and S4. These four different kinds of stages are involved in instruction pipeline. Okay, so that is only given in the question. So S1, S2, S3, S4. So the delays for the stages and the pipeline registers are given in the figure. So here consider this diagram. So stage 1 with delay 5 nanoseconds. Stage 1 with 5 nanoseconds delay. Stage 2 with 6 nanoseconds delay. So stage 3 with 11 nanoseconds delay. Stage 4 with 8 nanoseconds delay. Okay, so for processing it takes 5, 6, 11 and 8 nanoseconds. Okay, so that is considered as delay. So between each stages, so there are 4 stages. Between each stages, that is here, 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 we are having the pipeline register for 1 nanosecond delay. Similarly, there are 3 delays between that is pipeline register delay between these 4 kinds of stages. At the end of the result, that is at the end of stage 4 also, we are having a pipeline register delay. So now I think it will be clear. So stage 1, stage 2, stage 3 and stage 4, 4 stages with delays of pipeline register for 1 second, 1 nanosecond. Okay. So what is the question asked? What is the appropriate speed up? Sorry, what is the approximate speed up of the pipeline in steady state under ideal condition when compared to the corresponding non-pipelined implementation? Okay, so just understand the question what they have asked. So what is the approximate speed pipelined implementation. So they are asking us to compare how the speed up will be carried out between pipelined and non-pipelined implementation. The question is very simple. So these consider this diagram. These instructions can be processed with the pipeline also, and it can be processed without pipeline also, right? So they are asking with pipeline how much speed it is going in. So and without pipeline how much speed it is being carried out. So comparing so guys, are you listening, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So so pipeline registers overhead is not counted in normal time execution, right? So I'm going to say in this. So at normal time, that is when pipeline is not there in our process, then there will be no delay, right? After stage 1, stage 2 will be carried out. After stage 2, 3 will be carried out, and simultaneously 4th will be carried out. So it goes in a sequential way. So without this pipeline register delay, without pipeline delay, it will be carried out. But with the pipeline, this delay will be included. How much delay? 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1. So 4 nanosecond delay will be there in pipeline register delay. Okay, when we are going for pipeline. But without pipelining, when these instructions are carried out, means there will be no delay. Just these instructions will be processed sequentially, one after the another. Okay, so that is only they have given. Stage 3 and stage 4 delays. Counting these into considerations, we will get 30. So the speed will be 30 when we are having these instructions to be processed in without pipeline procedure. Okay. Now for pipeline, each stages will be of 11 nanoseconds. That is plus 1 nanosecond for overhead. That is overhead means register pipeline register delay. So instead of steady state out we are considering here, these 11 nanoseconds will be there in the case. After adding 1 nanosecond pipeline register, we will having 11 plus 1 is 12 nanoseconds for output cycle. For 1 per output cycle of instruction to be executed, there will be 11 plus 1. That is what means 12 nanoseconds will be used. So we are divide the 30 by 12. Okay. So why they are dividing means, so without pipeline the count will be 30, and with pipeline there will be a delay caused by register. So pipeline register. So we are dividing and comparing these two pipeline speed up. So 30 divided by 12, we will get 2.5. So the approximate speed needed for improving the performance between pipelined and non-pipelined process for this given instruction is 2.5. So our result is, that is our solution is B option, which is 2.5. Okay, so this is the third question we have discussed. So next we will move on to another set of question. So the fourth question it goes. So a 5-stage pipelined process has, okay, So they have given 5 different stage pipelines. Okay, so last question, in the last question we have seen 4 stage pipeline, right? So just see this. So in this, stage 1, stage 2, stage 3 and stage pipeline they have given. Okay, they have cut sized their representation as instruction fetch as IF, instruction decode unit as ID, and operand fetch as OF, and perform operation. So operation performing stage also they have analyzed. Okay, so perform operation PO, and write operand, that is storage. Okay, storage, for the purpose of storage they have given as WO, right operand stage. So IF, ID, OF, PO and WO are the given 5 stages of pipeline. Okay, so the these among these 5 stages they have given IF, instruction fetch, instruction decode, operand fetch and write operation. Sorry, write operand. So these stages take 1 clock cycle for each and every instruction to be processed. Okay, so any instruction can be given, but for processing each stages they have so these 4 stages are needed. These 4 stages are in need of 1 clock cycle period to carry over this. So we have left perform operation stage. Okay, they have given only 4 stages for 1 clock cycle. Each and every stage is handling 1 clock cycle. But PO stage, so PO stage means perform operation. The operation can be addition, subtraction, multiplication or division. Anything can be an arithmetic operation. So in order to process this PO stage, so there will be discriminations. So first cycle, sorry, that is for addition and subtraction instruction, it takes 1 clock cycle. Okay, so it spends 1 clock cycle for performing addition and subtraction operation. Similarly, for multiplication operation or multiplication instructions, it is taking 3 clock cycles to process. Similarly, for dividing the instruction, sorry, for division type of instructions, so our operations, it has taken 6 clock cycles. So addition and subtraction holds the 1 clock cycle, multiplication process 3 clock cycles, and division process 6 clock cycles. Okay, here is the key point they have given. So operand forwarding is used in this pipeline. Okay, so operand forwarding means, so here I will explain that. So consider this 4 different kinds of instructions: I0, I1, I2, I3. Here in these 4 different kinds of instructions, micro instructions or micro operations, there is the chance for operand forwarding. What is meant by operand forwarding means, so consider this first instruction I0, multiplication of R0 and R1 which is stored in R2. Okay, what does it implies? R1 into R0, the value will be analyzed and stored in R2. So next, similarly I2 involves R3 divided by R4 and the result value will be saved in R5. Okay, so what just consider I0 and I1. Here R0, R1, R2, R3, R4 and R5. So 5 different kinds of registers are used in this multiplication and division. Okay, so now consider I2. So I2, what does it implies? R5 and R2. When adding R5 and R2, and the result will be saved in R2. Okay, for processing the instruction I2, we are in need of R5 and R2. The result of previous instructions are needed to carry out the processing of I2 instruction. So I2 is dependent on I1 and I0. Okay, this so R2 and R5 values should be forwarded to the I2 instruction. Okay, so R2 and R5 should be forwarded to I2 instruction. Then only we can able to process I2 instruction. Similarly, consider the last instruction I3 implies subtraction operation R2 minus R6. In order to process, we are in need of R2 instruction. So R2 value. Okay, so the R2 value will be saved in I0 instruction. So in order to process I0 and I1 and the result, we are in need of the result value of R2, R5 and R6, right? So these two, the base level instructions I2 and I3 is dependent on I0 and I1. Okay, whenever the I0 and I1 instructions forward its operand to I2 and I3, then only these two processes will be carried out. Okay, so they are dependent on some other previous instructions, right? So here the operand forwarding technique is used in the pipelining. Okay, here is the key they have given. Okay, so what is the question asked? What is the number of clock cycles needed to execute the following sequence of instructions? So they have given instruction. So what we have to analyze the total number of clock cycles needed to execute the instruction. Okay, here goes the options. So A 13 clock cycles, B 15 clock cycles, C 17 clock cycles, and D 19 clock cycles. Okay, once again I repeat. So they have given 5 different types of stages: IF, ID, OF, PO, and WO. So for processing IF, ID, OF, and WO, 1 clock cycle is needed. Okay, so similarly PO, that is perform operation stage, in order to process this there will be a difference in processing. That is addition and subtraction needs 1 clock cycle, multiplication needs 3 clock cycles, division needs 6 clock cycles. So we have to analyze this instructions I0, I1, I2, I3. So for processing these 4 instructions, how many number of clock cycles is needed? That is the given question. Okay, any guesses? Students, if there is any guesses, you can tell me. Any guesses? Okay, we will move on to the answer part. So here it goes. So the diagram itself explains very clearly, right? So the topmost portion of the part indicates the clock cycles 1, 2, 3, 4 up to etc. 15. So we are having 15 clock cycles. OF, PO, and WO. Okay, what is the first instruction? I0, multiplication instruction, right? So multiplication instruction, for processing multiplication instruction, PO, what does PO, total number of cycles needed for PO? Multiplication, 3 clock cycles they are needed. So here it goes: IF, ID, OF. It has only 1 clock cycle. For PO processing, as this instruction is a multiplication instruction, it has taken 3 clock cycles, 4, 5, and 6. So PO along with that WO. So WO only 1 clock cycle. So in order to process I0, 7 clock cycles are needed, 1 to 7. So consider the second equation, second instruction. So it is a pipeline process, right? So the next level of instruction is executed at the second stage of clock cycle. So IF, ID. So once this PO process is in execution state, final state, then only we can introduce the operand fetch. Okay, so operand fetch. So we are delaying, the green lines indicates the delay. Okay, so wait state or delay state. So after that we are offering OF clock cycle. So next PO. PO we are having division operation. So division operation 6 clock cycles are needed. So here 6 POs are entered. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so 6 POs. After that, write operand. So it carries only one clock cycle. So for processing this, 13 clock cycles are needed. Okay, so second instruction is an addition operation. So instruction fetch, instruction decode, it has already taken out. So next process is OF. So OF will be at the final stage of previous PO. So last instruction also we have that analysis. So PO, when the PO of previous instruction is in the final state, we can provide operand fetch instruction. So similarly here it goes red line. So PO and OF. Okay, so then the following instruction goes, it carries 14 instructions. Also we are in waiting state. So then PO, previous PO is in ending state. So we are providing operand fetch followed by PO and WO. So overall we are having 15 clock cycles in order to complete these 4 kinds of instructions. So the answer is 15. Okay, so the answer is 15. Option B is the answer. Okay, so next instruction, next question. The program, consider the above program. Okay, the program below uses 6 temporary variables. You have came across swapping of numbers, right? So swapping of 2 numbers in Python programming or C++ programming. So swapping means swapping between values of variables. So if before execution, if A value is 10 and B value is 20, means after execution the A value will be 20 and B value will be 10, right? So while processing that, we are in need of temporary variables, right? So that is called as temp. So T is equal to A is equal to B, B is equal to T. So likewise, here they are using six different temporary variables: A, B, C, D, E, and F. Okay, so just analyze this set of instructions. A is equal to 1, B is equal to 10, C is equal to 20, D is equal to A plus B, E is equal to C plus D, F is equal to C plus E. So B is equal to C plus E, E is equal to B plus F, D is equal to 5 plus E. Return, finally we have to return the value D plus F. Okay, so here they have given the set of temporary variables and related instructions. So what they are asking? So assuming that all operations take their operands from registers. So in the previous 10 lines they have given operations, right? So we have to assume all these operations. So in order to process these operations, operands are in need of, right? We are getting all the operand values. What is the minimum number of registers needed to execute this program without spilling? Okay, so minimum number of registers. What is the purpose of register? Someone give the answer. What is the purpose of register? Students? Guys, what is the main purpose of register? Storage. Okay, what are all the different kinds of registers you are familiar with? Someone tell different kinds of names of certain kind of registers. Tell me some of the register names. Right or wrong, it is no problem. Just answer the question.
Sorry, MBR.
MBR. Okay.
MAR.
MAR, memory address register. Very good. Next.
IR. Instruction register.
Very good. Instruction register. Okay, I will ask you one question. Which is the most familiar register used for storing temporary variable and immediate result?
Sorry.
Yeah, tell me. For just listen to this question. What is the most familiar kind of register or famous register for storing temporary variable or immediate result of a particular operation?
Sorry, MBR. Sir.
It is one of the register, right? Okay, very good. So another kind of register is also there. So I will give you option. Memory address register, accumulator. Okay.
Sir, accumulator.
Yeah, accumulator. We have came across accumulator. Suppose when we are processing an arithmetic or some kind of operations means we are going to perform certain kind of addition or subtraction or any kind of mathematical operations. So whenever we are in need of saving temporary variables or immediate result of a particular instruction. Okay, for example, consider this instructions itself. So here a value is 1, b value is 10 and c value is 20. So d value, what does it indicate? A plus b, that is a plus b is 1 plus 10, 11. So d value is 11. So we have to save the d value temporarily in certain kind of register for a particular period of time. So similarly, c plus d. So c plus d, in order to process this, we are in need of d value. Okay, so whenever we are in need of arbitrary values, that is repeatedly asked values, then we will be saving these kind of values or temporary values in immediate register. So that kind of register is accumulator. Okay, it's an extra point I needed to add on. So it is an accumulator register. Very good. So so you are familiar with these kinds of registers. Very good. So what is they are asking? What have they asked? So what is the minimum number of registers needed to execute the above program or the given program? Okay. So what is the minimum number of registers needed? Any guesses? So here the answers are given. A, two registers, B option 3 registers, C option 4 registers, and D option 6 registers. So just think of how many registers they are in need of. I will give a clue. So the clue is in order to process one particular variable, we are in need of one register. Okay, so the clue number 1. So the first clue is for processing or saving a particular value, we are in need of only one register. Okay, for every variable. Okay, so similarly, when there is a repetition in the by using same kind of variables, there is no need for extra registers. Okay, so just think of A, B, C, D, E, F. So these are all the variables we are in this program. So what are all the actual variables initiated? A, B, and C have the initiation value. So similarly, D, E, F, and again B, again E, again D. So these kind of variables are like arbitrary variables. That is, it repeatedly mixes its value and save that value in this same kind of variables only. So I again repeat that 2 clues. So first one, in order to save a defined variable or a defined value in a particular variable, we are in need of one register per variable. This is first clue. Second clue is whenever there is a repeated operations performed using the same kind of variables in a same kind of program, there will be no need for extra variables, extra registers in a particular in our current program. Okay, so here is the two clues I have given. So assuming these clues, just tell what will be the total or minimum number of registers needed for executing the above program.
Sir,
Sir, 3.
6, 3. So the right answer is here. Answer is B. How? So that is only I have given as clues. So who said B? Three answer. Just give your name.
Sir, Saravanan, sir.
Super, Saravanan, very good. So and who said 6?
Saubernika.
Saubernika, nice try. Very good, very good. So as Saravanan said, A, B, and C are the main values for the of operations need the basic set of values from these three kinds of variables only. So in order to save these defined variables, we are in need of registers. So R1, R2, and R3 are the three kinds of registers we can assume to save A value, B value, and C value. So after that, D value will be we will be processing, E value processing, so F, B, D, E, and the sequence will go on. So we are not in need of any kind of extra registers. So we are already given three different kinds of registers. So the repeated values will be saved in updated in this set of three registers only. So in that scenario, there will be minimum number of registers used for this execution of program is 3 registers. So 6 register Saubernika has told. So when the question is asked what is the maximum or what are all the available or possible register number of registers which is needed to execute the same kind of program when there is a question asked in this kind of tactics means you can say the answer is 6. So minimum, they have asked minimum number of registers. So with the minimum number of 3 registers, we can able to process this whole set of program. That is only they have asked. So both of them, congrats. So nice try. So here goes the explanation. Just listen to this. So all the given expressions are using at most 3 variables, A, B, C, these 3 kinds of variables. So we never need more than 3 registers. So it requires minimum 3 registers. This is the explanation for solution. For extra add-on, I have given a certain general topic. So principle of register allocation. Okay, how can we allocate register? Okay, just understand. If you have understood the principle of register allocation, you can crack these kind of questions. Whenever these questions are asked, if you are familiar with this principle of register allocation, you will be answering rightly. Okay, so here it goes. If a variable needs to be allocated to a register, the the system will search for any kind of free registers available in the system. So it will be searching. If it finds one, it allocates in the free register. Suppose if there is no free register available in a particular computer means it checks for a register that contains a dead variable. So what is meant by dead variable means whenever we are allocating a variable, then it is considered as a dead variable. Okay, so suppose in consider this in this operation itself, if we are having a b c d e f g, likewise we are having. So but if h is a new kind of register, a temporary variable I have added, means if I have not performed any kind of operation using h variable, then that h variable will be considered as dead variable. So suppose when I am allocating a particular or initiating a particular variable and not using it for a long period of time, or not using for a future operations, then it is considered as dead variable. Suppose when there is a dead variable available in my particular computer, means or a memory, means I will allocate that particular register to the values. So otherwise we will go for spilling. So spilling means it spill. What does a spill indicate? Spill means spreading, right? So oil spill. We have came across the word oil spilled. So oil spilling means it is just sprayed, spilled, or so that kind of. So then it checks for a register whose value is needed after a long period of time, saves its value in the memory, and then use it for the register. Use that register for current allocation. Suppose when no dead variable is available, also when there is no free register available, then we will be moving on to the process of spilling. Okay, so that is only they have given minimum number of registers needed to execute a program without spilling. So without spilling means we are having a dead variable also, and also we are having free registers also. So that is they have mentioned as spilling. Okay, so these are all the questions we have discussed so far in this session. So I think this session will be very useful to you in understanding how the questions will be asked in instruction and pipeline related topics related to gate preparations. Okay, so if there is any query, just feel free to ask. So we have came across micro instruction. So third question involves speed up related topic. So how analyzing the speed of a particular pipeline with pipelined process or without pipelined process as a comparison study. So third one is, so fourth one is analyzing the number of clock cycles needed for a sequence of operations or sequence of instructions related to the given topic. Okay, so this is the fourth topic we have given. So next, last we have discussed about register allocation. How can we allocate the register or to a number of registers to the current scenario of given instructions. Okay, so these are all the basic instruction and pipelining related basic gate questions we have discussed so far. So thank you for listening this session, and if you have any query, means you can ask, otherwise we can wind up this session. Guys, any queries?
No, sir.
Okay. Okay, guys. Thank you for listening. The session is over. You can wind up the session and leave the class. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thank you.
sir.
Thank you.